Hello YouTube and welcome back to Allie's Wonderland Creations. I am Alice Seraphin and I am a Stampin' Up! Demonstrator in the United States. Welcome to my channel, everybody. So I had a subscriber ask about an envelope punch board. So this is my video on how to use an envelope punch board. This is not going to take any time at all. So let me move my whiteboard. And I am going to be standing up, so I need to move my chair. And I got this zoomed in, hopefully, so you can see it. This is my envelope punch board. I know that it is not Stampin' Up! Because when they were doing their envelope punch boards, I was not a demonstrator at the time. I was just actually getting back into stamping. So what I wanted to show you how to create and how to use this was to make an A2 size envelope. This is one of Stampin' Up's envelopes that fits a regular A2 size card. See that? And you can see in the red one, this card base has no. Okay, so that's what we are going to create. Now I'm going to hold up my punch board, because on here are a whole bunch of information. Hopefully yours is the same. So it says card size, paper size, and score line. And they're talking about this score line right here, okay? And I want to show you, there's this little punch part here and this little bit that pulls out. Mine has a little score tool right here. So sorry if that's a little confusing. Now on here, it says, mine says A2. And it says, this is the size of the envelope. No, size of the card size. 4.5 by 5.5. It says that we need a piece of paper that is 8 1/8 by 8 1/8. And then it says score line is at 3 3/4. So I have a piece of paper that is 8 1/8, and it's 8 1/8 square. So that is, we know what card size. This is my card size, 4 1/4 by 5.5. My paper size right here is 8 1/8 by 8 1/8, and that's my paper. And then it says score line. And what this means here is this is where we're going to score, but you need to use this ruler up here. Okay, so we need to find 3 3/4. So this is a half, 3 1/4 is right here. So I'm going to take my paper. I am going to move the edge to 3 3/4. Let me grab my tool here. I think now I can sit down. I just wanted to be up so I could raise and lower the board. Let's see, move this up so you can see better, hopefully. So I have the edge of my paper at 3 3/4. Now, remember, this is the score groove on here. And I showed you that little indentation. I stick my blade, you can hear me tapping it, all the way inside and over to the right. And I just drag it down over this score line. Now, I like to do it 3 times. You know that's my magic number. So there's 2 and there's 3. Now, I'm doing this really light-handed. I'm just even pressure over it, because I am just using printer paper for my envelope. So once you get that first score line, you don't need to look at anything else. You can see our score. So we take this score line, because it was here. We're going to rotate it to the left. And you see this little element on our scoreboard that sticks out? That little piece with the little arrow? The score guide. We are going to line up that first score line with this little bit that sticks out of the punch. Oops, I forgot to punch. So sorry. Go back in here. Line it up at 3 3/4. making sure it's still in the line. Punch. I can't believe I forgot that. I was so now you see we have a punch. We're going to turn it because we scored it. We're going to line this score line up with this little bit that sticks out. I'm going to make sure this is all the way to the right and score 1, 2, and 3. Punch. Don't forget to punch. Turn. Line up that score. We're turning it to the left each time. At least I am. Lining this up again with my score line. Punch first or second. It's up to you. This one all the way over and drag it down. I moved a bit. 2 and 3rd time's a charm. It was already punched. I'm going to take it out. I'm going to do it one last time. I'm going to punch first. Now I'm going to score. 1, 2, 3, and there is the beginning of my envelope, my little bits. So I fold all of my edges together and then I put them the way I want to. Because this is so thin, you can use a bone folder, but you don't have to if you're using, I just use the edge of my fingernails because it's really thin paper. So you could have the envelope open to the side. You can have it open the standard way, which is how I'm going to do it. So I'm going to start with the left side, like so. Bring in the right. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to add some wet glue to the very, very edge of my envelope. Probably shouldn't have it right at the tip. But if you do, just don't touch the tip down. I shouldn't have had glue here, but it'll dry and be just fine. So here's my first envelope. Let me show you. Here's a card base. There it is. It's that simple. Actually, this is really big even for an A2 card, though. This is the card they said. You could amend it. There's a 1/4 inch give here. You could make it smaller if you wanted, but they said this is their A2 size, so that's the one I went with. So let's do it again. Let's see, if we go down one size, 4.5 by 4.5, or 4.5 by 5. No, we're just going to stick with the same one. So here was my card size. This says A2. This was there on my punch board. 4.5 by 5.5, A2 card size. For my paper, for making my envelope, it says I need 8 1/8 by 8 1/8, and I need to start my score line at 3 3/4. So 8 1/8 by 8 1/8 score line. I want to start at 3 3/4. I'm going to punch first, take my score tool here, and score 3 times. 1, 2, and 3. Remove it, turning it to the left, rotating it, lining it up with this edge right there. I'm going to punch and I'm going to score 3 times. 1, 2, and 3. Rotate to the left, lining it up again, punch, score 3 times. 1, 2, and 3. And I'm hoping that you're seeing just how I'm not holding my score tool like this or like this. I'm holding it like basically like a pencil, very light on the scoring with this paper that I'm using. So lined it up, the score line I just made with this little bit that sticks out, punch, making sure it's all the way over, and score 3 times, 2 and 3. So I'm going to do this with some DSP paper in a minute, but let's just get my envelope made. So just going over all of my edges here. And then I'm going to add the glue. That actually makes a great card. I kind of like it like that. But it doesn't look so pretty here, so that would not work. So I'm going to start with the left, then the right. I'm going to turn it. Now I'm going to keep the glue away from this little pointed tip. So right up to there. Fold it over because you don't want it to glue it to the envelope itself, right? And there is my envelope. Quick, easy, no, nothing hard about that. So I'm looking here for a piece of DSP to make an envelope with, but maybe you guys can see better. Don't like that one. I don't like that. Oh, what do I have? Something. That's a Halloween one. I don't need any Halloween. Wow. I just can't seem to find anything I want to make an envelope with out of there. Let me grab a just some really cheap 12 by 12 paper. Give me a second here. Here we go. You guys know, like, I like to use this stuff for samples. So let's make an envelope with this. Let's see, what size should we make? This is an A2, this is an A6. Let's make an A6. So if I'm holding this up, A6 says that card is 4.5 by 6.5. And I need a piece of paper that is 8 7/8 by 8 7/8. And I'm going to start at 3 3/4. So I need a piece of paper that's 8 3/8 by 8 3/8. So what color is going to look better? Blue or the purple? Let's go with the blue. So 8 3/8. I'm going to get out my trimmer cutter. So 8 3/8. I keep telling myself so I won't forget. So that's 1/8, 2 3/8. Cut. Turn it, and we need to do the same again. So here's 8, 1, 2, and 3. Now we're going to use our punch board. Now, I want the blue to be the front of the envelope. So we're going to score on the white side. Now for this one, it says, we're holding it up so you can see it. You start scoring at 3 3/4. So let's do that. Just like we did with the last one. 3 3/4. We're going to punch, and I'm going to score 3 times. 1, 2, and 3. And I should have flipped this over, but oh well. We'll fold it back. So since I don't need to worry about any of this anymore, all I'm going to worry about is lining this score line up with this little bit and punching, and then making my new score line. Oops. And you just fill the groove. 2, 3. Turn to the left. Once again, I'm ignoring all of this. I'm just concentrating on this bit and my score line. Punch. Score. 1, 2, and 3. Turning to the left again. Lining up this bit with the score line. Punch. And score. 1, 2, and 3. And our envelope is almost complete. We put those scrap bits in there. Now, there's 1, 2, I'm going to open it back up. Start with the left side in, the right side in. I'm going to turn it. I'm going to add glue to both sides except for about 1/2 inch to 3/4 of an inch at the very tip of that triangle. Fold this over, and I have just made me a beautiful blue envelope. I don't have a card to go in it at this moment, but I want to show you. There you go. There's your envelope. Ready to address. Really simple. So I hope this helps you utilize your envelope punch tool, whichever kind that you have. These envelopes now will go into my envelope container. And thanks for watching. Thank you for asking me about this. I appreciate it. I want to help wherever and however I can, and I hope this does that. So thanks for watching, and please come back and visit me in my wonderland. Bye-bye for now.